What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. If you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. You'll never get clout. Yeah, that's right. If you press the like button, you will instantly be blessed with clout. I'm not really sure what clout is. Like, if you asked me to describe clout, I couldn't tell you. But if you press the like button, you'll get it. You know, there's that. And yeah, today we're going to be talking about the time that somebody ruined their high school teacher's career and got them fired in the greatest way possible. This story is from Reddit. I just want to make this very clear. It's from Pro Revenge. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So this story is widely known amongst my family and is constantly brought up and joked about in my group of friends, even years and years later. People that are friends with me suggest that this is the perfect Reddit to post it on, so let's get into it. Basically, I was a senior in high school at the time, and I had never been the brightest student. I was a solid C student and never received attention or had any kind of bad student record. This is important because to this day, I still have no idea why this teacher hated me so much. The teacher, who I'll name like Miss Frank for this video, had been a teacher for more than a decade and was widely known around the school for being a heartless witch. The type of person that would actually stomp on newborn puppies just for the fun of it. Regardless, she taught algebra, which is my worst subject. I've never really been good at math. Something about numbers just doesn't really work well inside of my head. So naturally, I had issues understanding the lessons and would ask questions pretty often. And some of these questions were easily answerable, but to me it was rocket science. And apparently, those got pretty annoying. Usually when somebody asks a dumb question, no one would address it. However, in Miss Frank's class, she would belittle me in front of everyone, saying things such as, "Oh, here comes the slow boy again. Wow, surprise, you don't understand it again. Really? Do we have to go extra slow to you today?" Etc., which is just not chill. Like, I get it, I'm not good at math, don't get me wrong, but singling me out and making me feel like an idiot in front of the entire class is not cool, and it definitely didn't help my confidence in a subject that I already struggled with. I'm a believer that teachers are supposed to be able to help kids and actually makes you like school, so the fact this teacher was calling me a moron and belittling me for just not understanding math definitely rubbed me the wrong way. I tried going to my principal and administration about it, but she was considered a great teacher because she had good chess scores, so they would send somebody in to examine her during her next class and she would act respectful and normal for one day and then go back to being a heartless jerk who would make me feel like trash the next. This goes on for about half the year until I finally had enough. I went to the local Radio Shack, yes, I'm that old, bought a recorder and recorded every insult she would throw at me. And sometimes I would instigate it to, just to see how bad I could get it, and always try to make up for lost time and lost insults by getting a few extra jabs thrown in there. So go ahead, I feed the fire, and of course she keeps belittling me, keeps tearing into me. So fast forward to the end of the year, and I'm sitting in Miss Frank's algebra class when I ask a question. Her response, and I quote because it's burned in my brain, was, "I've been teaching here for over 10 years, and that was the single dumbest question I've ever heard come out of anyone's mouth." And she continued the lesson without answering. I calmly stood up, packed my stuff, and headed to the nurse's office to dismiss myself from school, because we were allowed to dismiss ourselves when we were 18. I went home and compiled all of the tapes of insult after insult after insult into one glorious masterpiece and headed back the next day to show the administrators. I sat down with my principal and we listened to a couple of insults before he stopped me. He wanted more witnesses present as well as Miss Franks, and he told me that we would meet the next day where I could show him and the rest of the administrators the full tape. So I walk into school the next morning being more nervous than I've ever been before. I get called down to the office where I meet with the school board of directors, the school police officer, the principal, the vice principal, and Miss Franks. And what followed was actually one of the greatest moments in few minutes of my entire life. I watched as administrators went from fed up with being in another useless meeting to furious and speechless, with some of them keeping their mouths open for the duration of the tape. I also watched Miss Frank go from confident and stuck up to her realizing that she had messed up beyond repair. Honestly, I don't know what teachers expect. Like, you think you can just hurl insults at kids all year in the age of technology without somebody recording it or having something to say about it? And I knew going into this that everybody who was coming to the meeting definitely thought that she was this perfect teacher who could do no wrong. So seeing their faces immediately change and everybody just be shocked at the level of insults that were being thrown out in this tape definitely made me smile. Basically, I sat there for the next 20 minutes as insult after insult after insult after insult came out of this tape. And every time one would come out, she would get a little more quiet and a little less confident with every single insult. Basically, I watched the administrators become so fed up and furious that they just had everything but disdain for their heart for Miss Frank. The tape ended, and without hesitation, the administrators looked around in astonishment, and the principal turns to me and says, "I think we've heard everything we need to. Thank you." And I was quietly dismissed from the room. And when I say that I ran back to class with happiness, I mean I ran. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I skipped a couple times, alright? I was so elated to finally get payback for every time you had been mean to me. Don't get me wrong, I can understand having a bad day every now and then and getting a little fed up with a student who's a little bit slow. But the fact that I was berated and insulted every day for the better part of my senior year definitely rubbed me the wrong way, and knowing that she was going to pay for it made me elated. Like I said, a couple insults and no big deal, I can roll off with it. No sweat off my back. I can take it, I'm strong enough. But tactical and almost purposeful verbal abuse of a student after day for the entire year definitely was not going to fly with my book. And the final time I saw Miss Frank was leaving the room. I looked back and we made eye contact through her tear-filled eyes, and I gave the most big, evil smile. Now, normally, I'm a good person who would have felt bad about making somebody cry, but something about seeing the teacher who has done nothing but diminish the love you once had for education to well up with tears, realizing the mistakes she made, felt great. And I know that's a horrible thing to say, but I mean, think about it. This woman had been nothing but an absolute bully to me for the better part of my senior year, which was supposed to be the most enjoyable year of high school according to everyone. So seeing tears well up in her eyes as she realized that she had messed up her career beyond repair definitely felt a little sweet. I still feel bad saying that because I usually am a sweet person, but I mean it. She deserved everything that came to her, and I knew in my heart that that was the last time I was going to see her. Giving her that evil smile, I could tell that she knew she had lost and was definitely going to get reprimanded as soon as I left. I'm almost glad that my principal ended up bringing the board of directors, the police officer, and the principals and everybody else there, simply because it meant there were more witnesses to witness the absolute destruction that I laid down on Miss Franks. And maybe if she ever got a chance to teach again, which I seriously doubted, she would think twice before insulting a student and making them feel belittled. As I said, I skipped back to class with happiness in my heart, actually feeling like I was walking on cloud 9. I never really understood what walking on sunshine felt like until that day. I returned to class next week and Miss Frank was nowhere to be found. The story spread quickly throughout the school and I was seen as a saint. I had successfully gotten her fired and made it almost impossible for Miss Frank to return to her teaching career, as well as cut off most of her connections she had with other teachers in the school. I had ruined her financially because no school in the district in the area would hire this walking piece of garbage. Kids literally would walk up to me in the hallway and thank me for getting rid of her. I guess I wasn't the only person whose life she made absolutely miserable at that school, and knowing that I managed to make a big change in people's lives definitely felt great. Basically, what I'm saying is, if you have a teacher that treats you like garbage, don't be afraid to stand up and make a change about it, because trust me, I didn't think Miss Frank was getting fired, but I did. I guess the school board being there meant that they had to put it on her permanent record, and whenever she applies to a school job, it says that she had verbally abused the student in the past, essentially blacklisting her from everything that you could have possibly done in our school district. If you're reading this, Miss Frank, I'd like to take this moment to tell you to F off, and have a lovely time working. LOL, wait. I actually saw her at the grocery store the other day, and she averted eye contact and turned around her cart and went the other way. Guess she learned her lesson about crossing my path and how it's not going to end well. Since you guys have a ton of questions, I'll answer some things. Yes, recording your teacher is actually perfectly legal. I didn't go into much detail about the process, but me and my parents did our research to make sure we weren't breaking any kind of laws. Essentially, since teachers are teaching in a public setting with all the kids around, you're more than legally okay to record them at any given point in their place of business without either party's consent. Some other frequently class sessions I'm seeing are basically this. They left out the amount of crap I put my parents through during all this. There were tons of meetings and phone calls along the way where we tried to warn her. I had my parents call the administration, I had multiple meetings, and I would have made the story longer, but I didn't think anyone would enjoy reading it. I don't still have the tape still. It was in the administration's best interest to hang on to them and basically make sure that she couldn't file a false termination lawsuit and gotten out of hand if the tapes had spread and gave a bad reputation towards the district. Even if I kept the tapes, all this took place over 15 years ago, and there's basically no way I'd be able to find any of them. And yeah, I took algebra as a senior because I was bad at it. Sorry I'm not a genius. And as for what finally pushed me over the edge, it wasn't really anything in particular, it was just the amount of insults that were getting thrown my way every day in this class. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for the video. I just love reading stories like that. Something about people getting their just desserts in like a smart way, like somebody secretly recording insults, just makes me really happy. I guess, you know, if you're a teacher constantly insulting kids, you kind of deserve to get insulted. Call me crazy, unpopular opinion, but you kind of deserve it. But anyways, be sure to press the like button, comment down below if you enjoyed all that good stuff. Today's notification shout out goes to Dat-Boy Malky. Big shout out to you for having on notifications. If you want a notification shout out, all you gotta do is throw a notification, send a screenshot to my Instagram at Scrubby, and yeah, I shout somebody every day. But on that note, hope you guys all have an absolutely incredible day. I know I will. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. I'm out. Peace.